How's it going? My name is Sheldon Howell, the owner and program director for Wichita Parisi Speed School. So I guess kind of tell a little bit of my story, kind of where we all started in this thing. For me, I was a baseball player. I've been playing baseball my entire life, and Parisi honestly just fell somewhat into my lap by accident. I was inside of a facility that kind of, they decided, all the owners were deciding to bring Parisi into it. So I was all on board for it. I just wanted to learn a little bit more about it. I actually worked with Eric and Chad, were the first two coaches that I got kind of introduced to. And over that time frame, while I worked with them for 3 days, and they absolutely, kind of kicked my butt, I learned that this was a calling of mine and kind of a passion for me, that they were teaching me things that out of my entire career I had no idea about. And that really kind of had a bunch of light bulbs going off in my head. Was, I played at all these different levels and all these different places, and I wasn't getting this, and I didn't get this side of these, of sports. So for me, that was kind of my first, my first aha moment of I got to do this. I got to help kids with this. And this is something that I want to be a part of. Right. So that's kind of where I started with it. And fast forward, we were in a very large facility that was a baseball facility at that point in time. We were there for about 2.5 years or so. Ended up moving to a standalone facility. When we moved over to that facility, we've been there for about three and going into year 4 right now. It was amazing. The transition for us was massive. It was a really big deal here. Allowed us to reach a lot of different kids that we weren't reaching being inside of a baseball facility. And so we're super excited about where we are, looking to expand in the relative future. Number one lesson for me as far as working with kids on the coaching more side of that aspect, for me, what I have found is there's a lot of things, right? And a lot of them that I have a lot of passion about, but for me, it's about being that solidarity for the kids and being the role model for them. I think one of the common quotes that we hear a lot of times in this industry, but just all over, is, I want to be an athlete's reason that they didn't quit, right? I want to be that guy for someone that is going through a tough time or working and trying to figure it out, or doesn't have the opportunity, or whatever the case may be. And because I was inside of their journey, I was inside of their life, that they look to me for guidance, experience, whatever. And, I was able to help them in that. Right. And for baseball, I hear it a lot, giving back to the game. That's what we always talk about in our sport, and that may be in some other sports too. But for me, that's where my passion comes from. That's where I, want to try and be able to give back to the game and do something for an athlete, a young athlete, a middle-aged athlete, wherever, that I didn't get while I was growing up. And I had plenty of role models, but, more, right. And be able to give myself a little bit more in that area and try to help out, because, when I was growing up and I was playing, I had more doubters than I did believers. And, I was able to have a great career and able to play as long as I wanted to play. And, that only happens with certain people along in that journey. And there was a lot of people out there that if I would have followed what they told me when I was younger, especially in high school, that would have never been a reality. And, so I had to make some changes. I transferred schools when I had to. I had to, make some tough decisions that a lot of kids don't have the support system and don't, have people telling them on their shoulder, like, hey, I believe in you. And, for me, I had some of those peoples, and I want to be able to pay that back and pay that forward. Then the other side of that, lesson wise, for me, it's about grit. It's about consistency. It's about discipline. All the things that make you a better person. For me, on the business side of it, that's what it is for me, being a small business owner in tough times like we're going through right now, trying to find ways to adapt, find ways to, push myself through that, just complacency, and figure out ways where we're able to offer and able to still be there for these kids and these parents and these families, and do what we said we were going to do if times got tough. Right. And that's where we're at. And, so some people, they see this and they shut down and they quit and they stop, and they're not there and they don't have a plan. Right. And, for us, even though we may not always know what we're doing, 100%, but, we're not ever going to stop trying. And for me, in my life with all the adversity and all the different things that I've gone through, for me, I want to make sure that I never stop trying for anybody and never stop trying on my business, my partners, my family, never stop trying for the kids, and really, truly, be a man of my word when it comes to that. Common misconception. I would say kind of depends on the outside looking in and what their, situation is. But I would think the one most common thing that I hear of right now is that it's just the, like if you build it, they will come mentality, I guess. Like as long as it's there, it's there and it works. And that's so far from the truth on the business side of things, I guess. Because if you don't hustle and get out there and share your story and share your passion and share to people what you're about, then you're not going to have a successful business. You're not going to have people coming through your doors. Number one. And number two, I think that one of the misconceptions, I guess, is that it's simple or that it's easy, and it's not. And there's a ton of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears that go into making it all operational and making it work. And sometimes that's the thing that people look over, I guess. Yeah, if you're a new coach, and it's kind of a twofold answer, I guess. But if you're a new coach looking to just get into the industry, my number one thing that I talk with anybody that I'm working with in regards to coming on to my team is that, there's a couple things. Number one, you have to be passionate about what you do, because dealing with children and kids and younger athletes, you're going to have your patience tested. And if you don't have that, it's going to be a tough go. So, number one, you gotta have patience, and you have to understand, why you're there. And that comes from passion. So, if you have passion and you can speak from the heart and you're truly there for the right reasons, and that reason almost never is going to amount to money. So, you have to find the other ways and other things that are going to help motivate you. And it has to be a deeper why than that. And if you have that, then, you can make it as a performance coach. You can do this and you can have a great lifestyle in the process as well too. But if you don't have passion and you make it more about work and not about the athletes and the kids, it's going to be a long road. It's going to be a tough road, and it's not going to be a fun one, hardly ever. So number one there. And then say you're a performance coach looking to be a program director, or maybe a PD trying to, make it as an owner and try to do your own thing at some point in time. Not only does the passion come into that, but the biggest portion that I think that most people on all levels struggle with is consistency, and making sure that you stay consistent on a day-to-day basis, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here by any means, but my schedule, 5 days a week does not change. And I do not give myself excuses in that schedule. Now, as an owner, when I need the time freedom and I'm able, I have a young daughter and she, wants to do whatever. And if I get my work done first, then I'm able to do those things. But I never give myself an excuse to not do my work first and then, do the other stuff. It's, you're going to have to embody this experience and truly become dedicated in the sense of what it is that you want. And I think that's, as societal, we look at people and how they make decisions. I think that that's one of the common misconceptions as well too, is that people lose track of what they want. So you have to be honest about that. You have to be, you have to look yourself in the mirror and make a decision and understand that this is what I want, and I have to have a strategy to go and achieve what I want. So, if you veer off of that and you're not able to stay on that path, you kind of have to audit yourself. You have to check yourself and check your passion, check, what you actually are wanting, and just be truly honest. So that way you're able to have a good game plan, have a good strategy, and then go after and attack that. I have two. Okay. I can't give you one answer because I'm just not that way. My brain works in too many different ways. Okay. If I had one overall thing that I could do from more of a morality standpoint, is I would wish that I could be able to do something, whether this is a one thing or whatever, but to just spread happiness, to help people understand what it takes to be happy and to be less stressful. I don't know what that superpower would be. I have no idea, but something along those lines. I think that, you know, if people could learn that and figure out what that is for themselves, then we would live in a much better world, number one. But like a fun answer, I think it would be really, really cool to be able to like teleport. And like, if I wanted to just like bounce around, like, you remember that old, it's not super, super old, but that movie, they were like jumpers or whatever that movie was called. Like, I think that would be a pretty cool superpower to have, to just be able to like, bing, 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 just bounce all over the place, because, you know, really with that superpower, you can do just about whatever you want to do. So that would be kind of fun too.